Germany Must Perish by Theodor Kaufmann. Introductory note by Mark Weber. Theodor N. Kaufmann, the author of Germany Must Perish, was a Manhattan-born Jewish businessman who was also chairman of a group that called itself the American Federation for Peace. The first edition of this slim volume was published in 1940 or early 1941. A second 96-page edition, which sold for 25 cents, was published in 1941 by Argyle Press of Newark, New Jersey. Both editions were issued when the United States was still officially neutral, that is, before the Pearl Harbor attack of December 7, 1941, that brought the U.S. openly into World War II. Kaufmann's fervent proposal for the systematic sterilization of the entire German population was given respectful attention in the American press, including reviews in a number of newspapers. A review in the weekly Time magazine, March 24, 1941, called Kaufmann's plan a quote-unquote sensational idea. Germany's propaganda chief, Joseph Goebbels, seized with delight on the book. Quote, "This Jew, Kaufmann, has done a disservice to the enemy." End quote. Goebbels privately commented, quote, "If he had composed the book at my behest, he couldn't have done a better job." Close quote. At his directive, the German press played up Kaufmann's call for genocide. A front-page article about the book in the Berlin daily Der Angriff, July 23, 1941, appeared under headlines that called it a, quote, diabolic plan for the extermination of the German people, close quote, and a work of, quote-unquote, Old Testament hatred. Extracts also appeared, for example, in the nationally circulated weekly paper Das Reich, August 3, 1941. A plan similar to Kaufmann's was issued during the war years by a prominent American anthropologist in an article headlined, quote, "Breed War Strain Out of Germans," close quote, in the New York Daily newspaper, PM. Ernest Houghton laid out an quote-unquote outbreeding plan that would, quote, destroy German nationalism and aggressive ideology while remaining and perpetuating desirable German biological and sociological capacities, close quote. The Harvard University professor's proposal called for genetically transforming the German nation by encouraging mating of German women with non-German men, who would be brought into the country in large numbers, and of German men forcibly held outside of Germany with non-German women. 10 to 12 million German men would be assigned to forced labor under Allied supervision in countries outside of Germany to rebuild their economies. Quote, "The object of this measure," wrote Dr. Houghton, "included reduction of the birth rate of pure Germans, neutralization of German aggressiveness by outbreeding, and denationalization of indoctrinated individuals." This plan, Houghton estimated, would require at least 20 years to be implemented. During this period, he went on, encourage also the immigration and settlement in the German states of non-German nationals, especially males. End quote. In the decades since the end of World War II, something in the spirit of the genocidal Kaufmann and Houghton plans seems manifest in Germany's population and immigration policies since the nation's defeat in 1945. The German birth rate has fallen to below replacement levels. Millions of racially and culturally alien migrants have been welcomed as settlers in Germany. The millions of children of mixed ethnicity has sharply increased, and the ethnic cultural character of much of the country has been dramatically altered, especially in the larger cities. This dynamic volume outlines a comprehensive plan for the extinction of the German nation and the total eradication from this earth of all her people, and contains herein a map illustrating the possible territorial dissection of Germany and the apportionment of her lands. To all those men and women who would rather die fighting for freedom than remain alive as slaves, to all those men and women who, unafraid, speak out the truth as they conceive it to be the truth, To all those men and women who, inspired by the efforts, hopes, and aspirations of mankind, place its needs before their own, this book is humbly dedicated. Special note to the reader: Germany Must Perish presents a plan for the structure of a permanent and lasting peace among civilized nations. It bases its thesis on the eventual defeat of Germany by the British Empire and its allies without the assistance of the United States. However, should circumstances decree, then the American public cast its ballot in favor of war as a measure of self defense, and it is the fervent prayer of the author that this may never happen. It would become paramount that the lives of our native sons not be sacrificed in vain, as were their fathers' lives a generation ago. In our soldiers, if our soldiers must go forth to kill and die in battle, at least let them be given not alone a slogan, but a solemn purpose and a sacred promise. Let that purpose be an enduring peace. And this time, that promise must be